can't turn off your phone. Well, good morning. I'm not sure what's happening. I don't even know how you're seeing us necessarily.
This could be good.
Maybe sideways. It's hard to say. All of a sudden, our phone went completely berserk. Welcome to Daily Dose, whatever angle you're looking at us from. I'm not sure why you're so shaded, Dr. Mary.
I'm a shady person, apparently.
I guess so.
Here we go. I'm back in the light.
Okay. Good morning. It's Tuesday. So we're going to get right to it because I think we have an interesting topic to talk about. It's all around how are you defining your reality? And this is inspired by this Oprah and Deepak Chopra. You know what I realized this morning? Their names rhyme. Oprah and Chopra. That made me giggle a little bit. But at any rate, in the meditation that I'm doing with them, the prompt today was really this idea of how is your perception of your life defining your life? And she said a couple of things I thought were interesting. We bring our own history to every moment. The simple act of becoming aware of how you perceive something matters. Our perceptions paint our personal realities. And this is my favorite. As the author of your life, you can rewrite the story by changing your perceptions. Don't you think that's really, really interesting? Because so often we think, well, this is just how it is. This is immutable. It's as set as stone. So there's nothing I can do about it. I just am this. So that's how it works. And that's actually often not true. Why are you laughing?
No, it's just what I'll explain it in a minute. It's always just funny as people's reality is also completely not true when you think you're doing something and realise you're doing something completely different.
You have to say more, Dr. Mary. We're live.
I'm aware.
I know.
I was interrupting you. Keep going.
No, I don't have anything more to say.
Oh.
You made that sound like you had some great point to make.
No.
So now we're sideways and stuff's wackadoo. So I guess the reason this resonated for me was, for us, however you want to think of it, is this idea that I have often used the excuse of, well, I'm sort of trapped in Fargo as the reason why things can't be different for me. And in actuality, that's just not true. First of all, nobody's really trapped anywhere who's got some means. So much of what we talk about is dependent upon your ability to have some choice over your life. We have incredible choice over our life. So that is just a given piece of this equation. But if you have some choice over your life, then what are you doing with it? How are you using it as a crutch, or how are you deciding this doesn't have to be the thing that's holding me back? Fargo doesn't have to hold me back. First of all, anyone on the planet who's got access to the internet now has access to any content that gets created out of our little household, which means we also have access to everyone on the planet.
Yeah.
You can choose to view that as a plus or a minus. I think it's a plus. We actually have a great life from here. So how then can that be a launch pad to take us further, not diminish us? Do you have anything to add to that?
One of the things I learned in rehab was, you sometimes fall victim to your circumstance, and that then it's your choice. Do you want to get out of a hole that you're in? One of the things we talked about is that it's not necessarily a hole that you dug for yourself. It's a hole that you wallowed in and couldn't get out on your own, and now you're asking for help to get out of it. So that also changes your perception because you've got someone looking in. So the first point of that is to listen to what that observer is saying, which is why I was laughing, because I was saying, oh, I'm doing this right, and then everyone else, when I paid attention to who was watching me, said, no, really, you're not doing anything right in the remotest. You can't fix yourself. You are stuck, and you need help.
Okay, so I just went on my computer to see that yes, indeed, we are sideways. So we're not defying gravity. My phone decided to go completely wackadoo,
We look good
obviously.
sideways, actually. That's pretty.
It's silly, for heaven's sakes. How stupid. But, sorry, there's nothing to be done about it at this particular point in time, so enjoy
Our
Sideways
message
Us.
is not sideways. Let's concentrate
in
on
this
the flow of the
particular
conversation.
instance,
Yes.
Our perception cannot outweigh the reality, which is you are absolutely watching us
And
sideways.
what Dana said about being way down in Fargo, another thing I learned is that it's just a simple choice. And we've said it before, get busy living or get busy dying. How you deal with an opportunity, how you deal with life, how you deal with disappointment is equally as important as how you deal with life, a success, what to do with it. The most important thing is what do you do next?
Yep. So, the encouragement for you today is to just figure out what truths are you telling yourself that are actually not true at all. I can't do this because fill in the blank. I'm not able to be successful because fill in the blank. No one lets me have my fair share because fill in the blank. I don't have a problem. Everybody else has a problem because fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I can't make more money because my child can't be successful in school because. Now, there are some absolute truthful perceptions that are realities. We know that, particularly based on this past year. If you live in poverty, you have to work much, much harder to climb out of that hole than those of us who do not. If you are not a Caucasian, you have to work much harder. Those are not perceptions. Those are, unfortunately, for many people, realities. But for the great majority of us, the ways that we are talking to ourselves and defining our own realities is just our perception. I want to give you an example that I think started to change the way I see myself. It's taken me a long time. But in 2009 or 10, Quinn was a freshman in freshman in high school, so 14 years old. And I was having lunch with a friend who I really admire. And I said to her, oh my gosh, I'm already so anxious about Quinn graduating from high school. I don't know what's going to happen to me when he does because I am only Quinn Delval's mother. Like, I don't have any other identity. That's just who I am. Now, I have 2 points to say to that. One, do you see how that perception completely cut Maz Mary out of the equation and made him irrelevant to my life? Is it any wonder that I played a role in his falling into addiction?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Anyway, that's one thought. But my friend looked at me and she said, I don't ever think of you as Quinn Delval's mother. I think of you as an arts activist. So I guess this was a little bit later in time because I started the Arts Partnership in 2010. Let's say it's 2011. She said, I think of you as a great champion and fierce warrior for the arts. And I looked at her and I thought, you do? And then I realized we had two completely different perceptions of the same person. So I needed to shift my perception. I will always be Quinn's mother. That will always be one of my favorite definitions of myself. But I am also all these other things. And guess what? I did not shrivel up and die when Quinn went off to college. I did not shrivel up and die when Quinn went off to Los Angeles. We've only gotten better.
Yeah. I will sum it up with a bit of an American history here for you. Most of it's we are afraid of making decisions. We're afraid of making the wrong decision. That was in Limitless.
Yep.
George B. McClellan is probably going to continue to go down in history as America's least successful and probably now most unknown general. He was afraid to make a decision. He had to get replaced by Grant, who was not afraid of making bad decisions. I mean, he wasn't exactly the greatest general either, but he got the job done because he wasn't afraid of failure. He learned from his mistake. Yes, it did cost the lives of quite a few revisionist histories. Say, well, you know, he did this and 12,000 people died. Yeah, but his legacy is without question because he wasn't afraid to make a bad decision. He just set a course and then sailed off and took everyone with him. That's probably a very odd way to look about what we are failing to do. We are afraid of failure, so we don't succeed. A lot of people I know don't do as well as I did in rehab because they're afraid of the failure that comes with trying.
That is an excellent point. Where are you holding yourself back? Because the fear of potential failure is more powerful to you than the possible success. Oh my gosh, should I start a list? No, I should not. I'm not going to go on that list with you, but my list is at least as long as my arm, and I don't know if you know this, but I have inordinately long arms, so...
If someone ever told you they've never failed at anything, they're either one of two things. They're either a sociopath or a lawyer.
Neither of which is a great quality to be as a human. Yeah, so figure out, where are you telling yourself something that may or may not be true? And how can you start to shift that perception to actually define a different reality? If it's easy to say to yourself something as simple as, well, I can't go swimming because I look terrible in a swimming suit. I'm too fat to wear a swimming suit. If that is your reality, then can you shift it instead to something as inconsequential as, guess what? Nobody's looking at me because they all feel as bad in swimming suits as I do. I'm putting the damn suit on and I'm going in the water. It's really that simple.
Plus the fact there's probably about 90% of the people that will see you in a swimming suit will probably be saying, well played, lass.
Well, they're not thinking anything because they don't care. They're not thinking about you. I mean, I'm not telling you I've never looked at a woman in a swimming suit and thought, wow, she is really rocking the hell out of that swimming suit. Or thought something else. But who cares? My favorite Eleanor Roosevelt quote, what other people think of me is none of my business. Figure out what you think of you and stop holding yourself back with the perception that has become your reality that is simply not true. Or if it is true, simply let it go and come up with a new phrase. Come up with a new idea, come up with a new agenda. The clock is ticking and life is simply moving too fast for you to continue to live in such a small, limited box. I'm so sorry that we are crooked today. But maybe it will make more people watch wondering what in the heck we're doing. So, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll try and be the correct way up tomorrow.
Yes, we will. Try and succeed. See you tomorrow. Bye.